Elon Reeve Musk. He was born and raised in Pretoria, South Africa on June 28, 1971. Her mother is May Musk. She is a model and nutritionist. She was born in Saskatchewan, Canada and raised in South Africa. His father is Elon Musk. He is an engineer and businessman. He is South African with British and American roots. He is an electromechanical engineer, pilot, sailor, consultant, real estate developer, and once owned half of Zambia's emerald mines on Lake Tanganyika. Musk has a younger brother, Kimball, 1 year younger, and a younger sister, Tosca, 3 years younger. When Musk was young, his family was very wealthy. His father said, "We had so much money that we couldn't close the safe." After his parents divorced in 1980, Musk often lived with his father in Pretoria and elsewhere. An awkward and introverted child, Musk was bullied from an early age and was once hospitalized after being thrown down a flight of stairs by a group of boys. Musk became interested in computing and video games and bought a computer Commodore VIC-20 when he was 10 years old. He taught himself computer programming and at age 12 sold the code for the video game Blaster, which he created in BASIC, to PC and Office Technology magazine for about $500. In 1988, at the age of 17, Musk was college eligible at Pretoria Boys High School. He then learned that it was easier to enter the US from Canada. He applied for a Canadian passport through his Canadian-born mother. He attended the local University of Pretoria for 5 months before immigrating to Canada, where he studied physics and engineering. One of the reasons for moving abroad was the draft in South Africa, which was then practicing apartheid. He stated, "Joining the army itself was not a problem, but spending time oppressing blacks in the South African army did not seem like a very good way to go." In June 1989, at the age of 18, Musk arrived in Canada and lived with a cousin in Saskatchewan for a year. His mother was born in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada, and many of his relatives lived in Western Canada. He worked on his cousin's wheat farm in Swift Current, Saskatchewan, cleaning grain silos and working in the vegetable patch. He also worked at a sawmill in British Columbia, cleaning boilers and cutting logs with a chainsaw. In 1990, at the age of 19, he then moved to Ontario and enrolled at Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario. He met his first wife, Canadian alumna and author Justine Wilson, while attending Queen's University. While in school, he had the opportunity to intern at the Bank of Nova Scotia by calling businessmen he wanted to meet and asking them out to lunch, a method he started with his brother, Kimball. He states, "America is a country where great things are possible." In 1992, at the age of 21, he then received a scholarship to go to the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania and other schools in the United States, and transferred to the University of Pennsylvania. In 1994, at the age of 23, Musk did 2 summer internships in Silicon Valley. Pinnacle Research Institute, an energy storage startup that studied electrolytic ultracapacitors for energy storage, and Rocket Science Games, a startup based in Palo Alto. In 1995, at the age of 24, he graduated on March 31 of that year with a Bachelor of Science degree in economics and physics. At the time, he believed that the areas that would contribute to human progress were the internet, clean energy, and space. He tried to get a job at Netscape, but there was no response to his inquiry. That same year, he went to graduate school at Stanford University to study high-energy physics, but dropped out after 2 days of enrollment and decided to join the internet boom instead. That same year, Musk, Kimball, and Greg Corey founded Zip2, a company that provides online content publishing software, with funds from angel investors. The company conducted the venture in a small rented office in Palo Alto. They created and marketed an internet city guide for the newspaper publishing industry with maps, directions, and yellow pages. Musk could not afford an apartment until his company became successful, so he rented an office, slept on the couch, showered at the YMCA, and shared one computer with his brother. When he and Kimball could not agree on business decisions, they resolved them by wrestling. The website was up and running during the day. They were coding all night, 7 days a week. In February 1999, at the age of 28, the company was acquired by Compaq's Alta Vista division for $307 million, with Musk getting $22 million. That same year, he bought a McLaren F1. He owned this car until 2017. That same year, Musk co-founded X.com, a company that provides online financial services and email payment services. The company was one of the first federally insured online banks, with more than 200,000 customers joining the service in its first few months. However, investors considered Musk inexperienced and replaced him as CEO. In 2000, at the age of 29, X.com merged with online bank Confinity to avoid competition. Confinity had its own money transfer service, PayPal, which was more popular than X.com's service. Within the merged company, Musk returned as CEO. Musk's preference for Microsoft software over Linux created fissures within the company. Because of the resulting technical problems and lack of a cohesive business model, the board ousted Musk in September 2000. The company then focused on the PayPal service and renamed itself PayPal in 2001. That same year, Musk married Justin Wilson. In 2001, at the age of 30, Musk became involved with the nonprofit Mars Society. He was inspired by a plan to install a plant growth chamber on Mars and considered funding the project himself. In October of that year, Musk, along with Jim Cantrell and Mike Griffin, went to Moscow to purchase a refurbished intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, capable of sending a greenhouse payload into space. However, Musk was like an amateur and was spat on by one of the Russian design chiefs. The group returned to the United States empty-handed. In February 2002, at the age of 31, the group again traveled to Russia in search of 3 ICBMs. They met again with Cosmotras and were offered one rocket for $8 million, which Musk refused. Musk decided instead to set up a company that could produce affordable rockets. In May of the same year, with an initial fortune of $100 million, Musk founded a third company, Space Exploration Technologies, so-called SpaceX, which manufactures and develops rockets to enable space transportation. He became CEO and CTO. SpaceX attracted worldwide attention as a venture to make private space travel a reality. That same year, PayPal was acquired by eBay for $1.5 billion. Musk, the largest shareholder with an 11.72% stake, got $175.8 million. That same year, her first child, her son Nevada Alexander Musk, died of sudden infant death syndrome at 10 weeks old. Twins Xavier and Griffin were born in April 2004. In 2004, at the age of 33, he invested in Tesla Motors, an electric vehicle venture formed the previous year, joining as chairman and product architect and leading the company's financing round. He invested $6.5 million to become a major shareholder and joined Tesla's board of directors as chairman. As of 2005, at the age of 34, Musk's assets were valued at $328 million. In 2006, at the age of 35, triplets Kai, Saxon, and Damien were born. That same year, he co-founded SolarCity, a solar energy services company, with his cousin Lyndon and Peter Reeve. That same year, SpaceX attempted its first launch of the Falcon 1 rocket. The rocket failed to reach Earth orbit, but was awarded a commercial orbital transportation services program contract by NASA at the end of 2006. In 2008, at the age of 37, he divorced Justin. They share custody of their 5 sons. That same year, Musk began dating British actress Tallulah Riley. That same year, Tesla produced its first electric sports car, the Roadster. With sales of approximately 2,500 units, it was the first continuously produced all-electric vehicle to use lithium-ion battery cells. Musk personally owns the first production version of the Tesla Roadster, 0001. In October of the same year, he became Tesla's 4th CEO and product designer. That same year, SpaceX successfully launched Falcon 1 into Earth orbit after 2 failed attempts. It was the first commercial liquid fuel rocket to accomplish this. Later that year, SpaceX was awarded a $1.6 billion commercial resupply services program contract from NASA. That same year, he received the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics George Low Transportation Award for his contributions to the development of the Falcon rocket. In 2009, at the age of 38, Martin Eberhard, one of the founders of Tesla Motors who was forced out of the company when Musk took the initiative, accused the company of breach of contract and attempting to rewrite history by falsely claiming to be the founder or creator, a claim that was later settled. At that time, it was decided to recognize the 3 actual founders, Eberhard and Mark Terpening, plus Musk, as co-founders. In 2010, at the age of 39, Tesla went public. In September of the same year, he and Tallulah Riley were married at Dornoch Cathedral in Scotland. That same year he was awarded the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale Gold Space Medal. In July 2011, at the age of 40, the company donated $250,000 and a solar power generation system with an output of 20 kilowatts to the areas affected by the Great East Japan earthquake in Japan. In 2012, at the age of 41, the Dragon spacecraft became the first private company to be moored at the International Space Station. That same year, Tesla began deliveries of the Model S, a 4-door sedan. That same year, Musk participated in the Giving Pledge, promising to donate a large portion of his estate to charity, either before his death or in his will. That same year he was listed on the Forbes Billionaire list for the first time, with a net worth of $2 billion. That same year he was awarded the Royal Aeronautical Society Gold Medal. In the same year he divorced Tallulah Riley. However, he got back together with her in 2013. In 2013, at the age of 42, SolarCity became the second provider of solar power systems in the United States. In August of the same year, the company revealed its Hyperloop concept, an approximately 800 mph, 1,287 km/h transportation system. In 2014, at the age of 43, SolarCity began construction of a production facility in Buffalo, New York that is 3 times the size of the largest solar plant in the United States. This was completed in 2017. In 2015, at the age of 44, he was awarded an honorary doctorate in engineering and technology from Yale University and made an honorary member of the IEEE. That same year, he founded OpenAI, a non-profit organization for artificial intelligence research. That same year, Tesla launched the Model X crossover. That same year, SpaceX began development of the Starlink constellation of low Earth orbiting satellites to provide satellite internet access. The company also successfully landed the first stage of its Falcon 9 rocket to meet its reusable launch vehicle goals. This was followed by a landing on an autonomous spaceport drone ship, an ocean-based recovery platform. In March 2016, at the age of 45, he divorced again with Tallulah Riley. That same year, Musk co-founded Neuralink, a neurotechnology company focused on developing brain-computer interfaces. That same year, he founded the Boring Company to build tunnels. That same year, Tesla acquired SolarCity for over $2 billion and merged it with its battery energy storage products division to form Tesla Energy. The announcement of this acquisition caused Tesla's stock price to drop by more than 10%. At the time, SolarCity was facing liquidity problems, but Tesla shareholders were not informed. As a result, several shareholder groups filed suit against Musk and Tesla's directors, claiming that the SolarCity acquisition was made solely for Musk's benefit and at the expense of Tesla and its shareholders. In 2017, at the age of 46, Tesla launched a mass-market sedan, the Model 3. Earlier that year, the Boring Company began discussions with regulatory agencies and began construction of a test trench 30 feet, 9.1 meters, wide, 50 feet, 15 meters, long, and 15 feet, 4.6 meters, deep on the SpaceX office site that did not require permits. That same year, SpaceX unveiled its next-generation rocket and spacecraft system, the Big Falcon rocket, later renamed Starship, to support all SpaceX launch service provider functions. That same year, he was a member of the President's Strategic Policy Forum under President Trump. However, he resigned in June in protest of Trump's announcement to withdraw from the Paris Agreement. In 2018, at the age of 47, under a pay structure approved by Tesla shareholders, Musk would receive neither salary nor incentive compensation, but instead would receive stock options worth billions of dollars when the company makes a certain profit or the stock price reaches a certain value. In February 2018, Musk's assets were valued at $20.4 billion. In February of the same year, SpaceX launched the first 2 prototype satellites of its Starlink constellation of low Earth orbit satellites. That same year, SpaceX launched Falcon Heavy, with Musk's personal Tesla Roadster as the payload on the first mission. That same year, SpaceX announced a private flight plan called the Near Moon Project, a 2023 lunar orbit mission plan. In March of the same year, at Musk's request, President Trump demanded that China lower its tariffs on automobile imports and allow sole foreign investment, which China accepted in April. Accordingly, in June, Musk announced the construction of Tesla's first overseas factory, Gigafactory 3, in Shanghai. On April Fool's Day, April 1st of the same year, he said, "Tesla Incorporated is bankrupt," and tweeted, causing the stock price to drop by up to 8%. In May of the same year, Musk revealed that he was dating Canadian musician Grimes. In the same year, he was elected a Fellow of the Royal Society. In August of the same year, he tweeted that he had secured funds to buy back Tesla's shares for $420 per share to take the company private, and the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission filed a complaint in federal district court alleging fraud. In September, he put the situation behind him by resigning as chairman of Tesla after paying a $20 million fine. He has continued in his position as CEO of the company since then. That same year, as Tesla became increasingly involved in AI through Tesla Autopilot, Musk left the OpenAI board to avoid any possible future conflicts with his role as Tesla CEO. In 2019, at the age of 48, Tesla unveiled the Cybertruck, an all-electric pickup truck. In early 2020, at the age of 49, Musk's net worth was $27 billion. In March of the same year, Musk said he would donate a ventilator, either manufactured by Tesla or purchased from a third party, to help combat the new coronavirus. In May of the same year, Grimes gave birth to a son. That same year, SpaceX launched its first manned flight, Demo 2, becoming the first private company to put a man in orbit and combine a manned spacecraft with the ISS. That same year, Tesla launched its fifth vehicle, the Model Y crossover. In the summer of that year, Tesla became the automaker with the highest market capitalization, and by the end of 2020, it was in the S&P 500. In November of the same year, Musk surpassed Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg to become the fourth richest person in the world. A week later, he surpassed Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates to become the world's third richest person. A month later, he surpassed Bernard Arnault, chairman and CEO of LVMH Moet Hennessy Louis Vuitton of France, to become the second richest man in the world. In January 2021, at the age of 50, Musk, with a net worth of $185 billion, surpassed Amazon founder Jeff Bezos, temporarily becoming the richest man in the world. However, by the end of the week, he had dropped to second place. In early 2021, the tunnel under the Las Vegas Convention Center, which was being dug by the Boring Company, was completed. In September of the same year, it was reported that Musk and his wife were semi-separated. On September 27 of the same year, Forbes announced that Musk's net worth exceeded $200 billion, making him the richest man in the world, following a surge in Tesla stock. In October of the same year, Tesla became the sixth company in U.S. history to reach a market capitalization of $1 trillion. In November of the same year, Musk became the first person whose net worth exceeded $300 billion. On November 6 of that year, Musk proposed on Twitter that he sell 10% of his Tesla shares, as much has been said recently about unrealized profits being a means of tax avoidance. When more than 3.5 million Twitter accounts supported the sale, Musk sold $6.9 billion in Tesla stock in the week ending November 12, for a total of $16.4 billion by year-end, reaching the 10% goal. That same year, Musk moved his personal and Tesla tax domicile from California to Texas. In November of the same year, Musk donated $5.7 billion in Tesla stock to charity. In 2021, the findings of an antibody testing program created by SpaceX in collaboration with physicians and academic researchers were published in Nature Communications, with Musk as a co-author. In 2022, at the age of 51, Musk was elected to membership in the National Academy of Engineering. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine that same year, Musk sent a Starlink system, purchased by other European countries and private funds, to Ukraine to facilitate internet access and communications in the besieged country. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky thanked Musk personally for Ukraine's support and stated that further discussions would take place between the two sides regarding space projects to be undertaken after the war. On March 14 of the same year, Musk purchased approximately 73,500,000 shares of Twitter, 9.2% of all Twitter shares, becoming the company's largest shareholder. The announcement of this investment sent Twitter's stock price up 27%. In April, it was announced that Musk would not join Twitter's board of directors.